Welcome to podcast 335 of 5-Star Potential, your weekly Football Manager podcast. I'm Doop, and on this week's pod, I'm joined by Joe, aka Friday Night FM, and Dave, aka PC Jack McLaren. Welcome, gents.
Cheers, guys.
There's no Matt this evening. He's hosting a Barry Venison tribute night over on Talking Magpies, but none. Oh no. He's actually decided to turn up for this one. He's actually here. Hello, Matt.
Hello. Oh, boo.
Who are you?
Back.
We
funny,
forgot
innit?
you were here.
There's no way
It's
Dave
funny.
goes
We
for
all
Barry
pretended we didn't know that was coming, even though we've all read the script.
And he sat here on our screens. Yeah.
And he's sat here on our screens over at YouTube. On this week's podcast, we're going to head over to Japan and see how I've absolutely well and truly nuked my Pentagon challenge. Hopefully, Mad's been back to Ikea and Dave's still wondering how to pronounce Mr. Peter's first name. After last week's Golazo list, we thought we'd actually take a look at Matias Soule and with a bit of luck, we'll have a couple of tangents along the way to fill this hour. But before we do that, give me your winners of the week. Boys. Joseph.
I'm going to put this out there.
Yeah.
I think this is the best version of Football Manager ever.
Oh,
Ooh,
okay.
Hot take.
I don't know how you boys feel, but I can't put it down. I want to play every night. I mean, I don't now because Casapia have just made it 4-4 and 96 minutes and 15 seconds of 6 minutes of added time. So fuck you. But, aside from that, best version ever.
I think there's a better version every year. I think he gets better every year anyway.
Possibilities are endless, though, isn't it? I have to admit, I think this is a very good version of the game. I'm really enjoying the match engine. I mean, that's probably one of the big things is that we mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. Maybe was the new roles of the inverted fullback, which is really kind of emphasizing my style of play, and it's really worked well for me. But yeah, Joe, I have to admit, I'm enjoying it, even though we'll hear very shortly that it's not going to plan. But it's just exciting to see what happens next, right? Because 2025 is meant to be the big one.
That's where they fuck it all up.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I feel like there's a lot less silly, stupid things, and like that's a combination of experiencing in the game. Like transfer interactions are better, obviously, the match is better, but this is a lot less. I feel like there's a lot less of the usual people who complain a hell of a lot about silly things. I just don't see it as much.
That's the joy of muting on Twitter, right? You don't see those complaints.
Yeah. But it just, I think
Matt doesn't use Twitter, mate. I never see him on there.
No. Oh, no, he has. I've seen him tweet twice today about his Talking
only
Magpies one.
Yeah, but to be fair with Mad, whenever he tweets about FM, it always bangs anyway.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, Bosh.
Yeah, it's
What
got
was
a
that one
banger
I
in him.
I can't even remember what the other one was, but it went crazy for no reason.
You did father and son Fred, and you did another one as well, didn't you?
I did something
It
about
was
Eric
the
Dyer and Harry Kane.
removing the friend clause, wasn't it?
I really wasn't expecting that today, but anyway, yeah, it's weird how it works.
But even though Eric Dyer is going to Barcelona, Bayern Munich.
Should do a TikTok, Mad.
They know we're a Spur. I don't know how to do TikTok.
Nah, Mad's not got TikTok.
If you ever do a good Fred like that and it bangs, I'll make a TikTok on it. 5-Star Pod TikTok.
Okay. I don't want the account because it'll just be a load of girls dancing, and then everyone will blame Dave.
Make sure I delete this app. Yeah.
Because it'll be me 100% of the time. Mad, moving swiftly on. Who's your winner of the week, mate?
I'm gonna have to praise Football Manager and Sports Interactive again. For this
Whoa! Come on! Let's not get hasty now, mate.
Hey, can anyone guess? We've got a Sports Interactive guest on very soon.
No, we haven't.
No, we don't.
It's hard not to because you've heard me preaching through my Ike save about Jonah Kusi Asar. He's 15 when you load up a save in Sweden because it starts in February, and he's absolutely banged in my save after a couple of seasons. But now, I mean, Romano is tweeting about it at the moment as of today. Bayern are in for him in real life. He's now 16. I think they had a 4 million bid turned down. He hasn't even scored at senior level yet, but clearly there's a lot going on in his, when he's playing for the under-19s. So, yeah, I got to throw it out to the researchers. It feels like another one they've got right, and it's getting a bit more out there, away from South America and the usual ones. So fair play. My boy.
Do you feel proud?
So-
Do you feel really, really proud?
I mean, like some people on certain podcasts think they were the first person to ever discover Victor Osimhen, Doop, and that's how I'm feeling. That's how
To
I'm
be
feeling
fair,
with
Matt,
Jonah.
That was Dave.
Yeah.
As quick as you may come back, we can fuck you straight back off, mate. It's not a problem. All right? We can just not put your audio in this week, mate. It's not a problem.
It's been fun.
Well, it lasted. David, talk to me. Who's your winner of the week, or what is your winner of the week? Should I ask?
I'm not.
Dare I ask?
I'm not repeating on what's been written on the script. If
Pussy.
yeah, that's quite close actually. No, I think the fact that I'm still fighting on all fronts in my save on Football Manager. I've got obviously the update coming up, so it's a good week for the game. Like you said, good week. Everyone's praising the game and the match engine and their save. So yeah, I'm fighting on all fronts at the moment. Frustratingly, I mean, if I don't know if we're doing losers. Loser of the week is that I haven't played the game near enough, to what I
Why?
wanted to play this week.
Well, because of his winner of the week.
Yeah, so no, I played a few games before I went out to play football today, so I've still got just a little stretch of the season to do. I would play more if the flipping Steam cloud worked properly.
Yeah, I agree
Because-
with that. I can only
Fucking
but echo
Football
that.
Manager. What a shit game.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
actually, we picked it up twice. Let's
That's it.
call it out, Dave, because it fucks me off every time I shut the game down. Steam cloud error. Steam cloud error.
I
Doesn't swap over.
played it yesterday, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go to bed, go on my laptop and play Football Manager, and I saved the cloud, quit Steam, and because it said it was done, and I go on my laptop and it can't download it, so I'm having to
Yeah.
either use a USB or WeTransfer every time. That's just jarring.
It's fucking first world problems, isn't it?
I know. Yeah.
I think I found it because it depends if you go do it really quickly. So if you save your game and then you exit the game and then you just close down Steam and you're shutting down your computer, I feel like if you do all those things pretty quick, that's when it seems to happen more.
I
often.
waited
I
though.
get an error.
I on my computer here, it said it uploaded. I waited ages, and
Yeah,
so I
no,
failed. I retried it and it uploaded, and then when I went on my laptop, the sync wouldn't work. So that's the one thing. That's my loser.
Ooh.
No, I can stand by that. I think it is very frustrating, especially when you're doing a save that requires so much kind of time, right? You need to be
Yeah.
able to do that swap and change nice and easily.
I just upload mine to OneDrive.
Yeah, I might have to.
And
I might
then
have to start doing
and
that.
then I just
Or
load it
Google
from
Drive.
I
Yeah.
wonder whether
You can set it up.
I was going to say, can you set it up so it automatically saves to OneDrive?
So it will sync it to that.
Oh,
You can
yeah,
set
you
it so it will sync to
OneDrive
your
documents.
Sports
Yeah.
Interactive file.
Nice, yeah, good idea. Good idea. My winner of the week has to be Mr. Azzopardi. He is
Seen a pair of tits this week?
That was the winner of the week. Yeah.
Let's leave Wendy out of this. He has he's done his own little achievement hunter, and he's doing some extra curriculum activities outside of the game. So fair play, David.
Oh,
It's nice to
where
see.
this is going.
No, it's the loser of the week, really, because we're not. This is Dave's last podcast before he gets back under the thumb. So enjoy it, watch his last, because that's probably it. No, I don't have a winner of the week. I'm grumpy, as my wife tells me all the fucking time. Right, so we move on to save updates, because we've had some movement everywhere we go. So let's start as we mean to go on and go. David, carry on. Talk to us about your Penty.
Yeah, so I think on the last podcast I said I wanted to be in a position where the season was done because I actually didn't have that long left.
Was that when you wanted to win the Champions League by Christmas?
Yeah, I still think I'm on the same season that I was on
Wow.
before Christmas as well. So yeah, I've been quite slow on it really, but the amount of games that I've had is ridiculous. Like, I looked at my fixture list when we did the last pod, and I was like, oh, there's only about 8 games left, but I kept winning in the cup, so it was like being adding games on. So it's good and bad in a way because I've got at the moment, like as we speak, I've got 4 league games left. And in my opinion, I've had a phenomenal season in the league, and I'm still 4th in the league. I've got a game in hand, so if I win that, I'll go 2nd. But I don't think I'll catch some Sundowns. So Mamelodi Sundowns, 26 games played, 23 won, 3 lost. So they're on 69 points at the moment. If I win my game in hand, I'll be on 62. So So I think all throughout the season, I've probably had about 45 games and only dropped points in about 8 of them. Like, we've been very, very strong. But other than the league, because it's very, very difficult, like I've explained before, only the team that wins the league gets a Champions League spot. I'm going to ignore the league, really. We've had a good season in that, but I'm going to crack on. Confederation Cup, that's the big one. We're still in it. We're in the quarterfinal at the moment, 2 legs against another team in South Africa. It's Sekou Hunye United, I think. I've beaten them quite comfortably a number of times this season, so I'm confident that I'll get through to the semis. Already won the League Cup, already won the Challenge 8 Cup, whatever it's called, and I'm still in the FA Cup. So we could I think I mentioned it again last pod. I could win 4 trophies this season, and it won't include the league. Typical FM coming towards the business end of the season. On mid-March at the moment, a lot of key players starting to get injured. Peters injured. One of my central midfielders injured. My other striker, guy from Brazil, Lusau, is injured. Winger injured. So all first teamers are going out with injuries. But thankfully, throughout this season, I made a quite conscious effort of getting a lot of squad depth. A lot of under 21s that would tend to loan out are kept around. So that's what I did in the last game. I brought in a young lad who scored nearly 40 goals for the under 21s. Brought him into the first team, and he scored 2 in his last 2. He's got 4 in 3 actually in the league since the start of the season. So I explained to you, Doop, before you started. You will get teams in the Pentagon where your first teams are going to be better, but because of the quality of the league, sometimes you can call up the youngsters and they're going to make an instant impact on your team. So around this time of the season, I would normally sort of, look ahead to next campaign and start looking at players' contracts expiring, for me to bring in. But I just don't know where the land lies. It could be a really successful end of the season, and I could be thinking, right, let's press and try and win the Champions League next year. Or it could be an absolute disaster where I miss out on the top 2, I lose out in the cups and the Confederation Cup and walk away with nothing. So I'm confident. We've been very solid. Best goal difference in the league by far. Very often scoring 3+ goals in matches. So it's just trying to get the business done towards the end of the season. But still enjoying it nonetheless. And exciting. If the cloud worked, I would have definitely had this season done. So blame that.
I love that. Yeah, blame the technology, Dave.
Yeah, exactly that.
That's why you blamed last time when you had to cheat, right? Because it blacked out during the final.
Yeah.
I think we can insert a meme here on screen that is the meme of Grandpa Simpson, and he's like, old man yells at cloud, but that's Dave.
Yeah.
It's always the Simpsons with you, isn't it?
Kids, I don't have much.
Seamus, isn't it? Oh, that's Family Guy, I think.
That's also Scottish. Is that not Scottish? Not Irish.
Yeah,
Awesome, though, Dave. So are we just hoping that this is it? You're going to slog it out now, get South Africa done, or are you kind of thinking you've taken it as far? You need to wait till till Sundowns are available?
No, I think I'll be able to do it with Supersport. Definitely. I think I was, I sold a lot of big players in the summer, and I've been a lot better with contracts this year. And I sort of know for next season, I mentioned it again previously, that you only get 5 foreign players, and this season I've had like 2 or 3 that haven't even barely got a kick for me. So I've got to make an effort next year to make sure those 5 foreign players are arguably my best 5 players in my squad, because the South African players are very hard to get hold of. If they're decent, they're playing in Europe or Brazil. And I've definitely got the better South African players I can still get hold of, but it's money. I haven't got a huge amount of money to spend on wages and transfer budget. So I think I'll stick with Supersport. I think I'll stay here now until we win the African Champions League. In an ideal world, I'd hope it'd be next season. But I don't know. I think the quality of the teams there, it's going to be tough. But I haven't even looked at different jobs, to be fair. Like last season when we struggled a little bit, I was like, yeah, let's move on, maybe move continents. But, that'll be, I think if I do it next season, that'll be 5 years. And I don't think that's too bad from nothing to winning the Champions League. Reputation jumps up. Done quite a few coaching courses. I'm Continental B now, so my attributes are a lot better. We're looking 12s plus now. So I'll probably try and do another one towards pre-season, towards the end of the season. So I'm doing it throughout the summer. But yeah, it's going well. I'm enjoying it as well. Like Joe said earlier, I'm really enjoying it. It's not even got to the point where I think, flipping heck, I've got to try and grind this out. I'm really enjoying it.
Are you finding it quite easy to get the coaching badges?
At the moment, yeah.
Are they quite
I think mainly because obviously I'm doing well, and the club's got a bit of money. When I first started, like at vendor, that was difficult. I think I got one at vendor, and then since then I've sort of cracked on. But I've not really been gone out my way to do it. I thought whilst we're doing quite well and so on, I think they're important for obviously when you want to try and better yourself and get another job, because that's what they're going to look at ultimately. So yeah, I think yeah, we're doing well, and I've got a lot of good young players coming through as well. So fingers crossed, next pod we'll have a really bumper update.
Awesome.
What about
well,
next stream? Next stream.
Next
Dave.
stream.
Talking.
Well, my camera's broken.
Ooh.
Anyway. I ain't using this webcam on a stream. I do need to get back on it, though. To be fair, I do need to get back on it, but it's just time again at the moment.
Dave's next stream will be the transfer window closing for Wolves.
Yeah,
that'll be my next live stream. End of Jan, yeah.
Bless.
Gosh.
But let's go from one attack of a Pentagon to another, and I'm going to just butt in with my save update, because we've got Dave over in South Africa plodding along with the same team, ticking along, and then you've got my car crash of a Pentagon save going on. I'm at another club. This is the fourth club I've been at now. Some of it's been my own fault. I've not been sacked, Matt, so don't worry, you can't jump on my back just yet. And I'll be honest, all I've done is from my first job, I've just taken backward step after backward step after backward step. So we got in with Long Ding in China League One. Just basically got them narrowly avoided relegation in our first season. We had about 6 or 7 games to go. That's all we had to do. And they basically, half the team were leaving at the end of the season. They weren't giving me any money. And the club just didn't want to help me out. They didn't want to give me a coaching badge, so I decided to leave. Went over to India, went to Kashi, into Kashi they were called. So they're a brand new team. So in India, after the first 2 years, you can't get relegated. So for the first 2 years. So I went in I just got told not to get relegated. I couldn't get relegated, so it was pretty easy. But we did actually end up winning the league there, and also winning the Federation Cup, which was really good first season. But the problem is in Football Manager, the Hero I League isn't the top league in India. The Hero Super League I League is, and that isn't available on the game. So you can't really go any higher in India. So I thought, you know what? We're going to leave. They wouldn't give me a coaching badge. They wouldn't give me any money in the summer. And they wanted me to repeat the kind of adventures of what I've done in the previous window. So I decided to leave there. And this is where it gets really interesting, because we went to a team that I used to manage, Dongyu, in China. They were 6th in the league, and all we were asked to do was just to keep us mid-table. I think I joined and I had about 15 games to go, maybe even less than that. Yeah, it might be halfway through the season. And you'll never guess who was top of the league at that current time. Long Ding were top of the league, who eventually went on to win the league. So yeah, we definitely jumped ship a little bit too early from there. Dongyu managed to get them stabilized. We came 4th in the end. A little bit. We were only a couple of points away from coming 2nd, which is a playoff position, which potentially could get us into the Super League. And then I had a really interesting transfer window. I brought in a load of foreign players. You're only allowed X amount. I brought a load in, got rid of a load, and I was like, here we go. I got some really good Chinese players in as well. So kind of like my core was Chinese. I got one of the best Chinese goalkeepers around that had some great potential. And I'm thinking I'm building a team that could take us to the Super League and then potentially win that Super League and even the Champions League. And then I don't know what it was. Something happened where I definitely fucked up. I'm not blaming anyone else, but I was doing something. I had my mind on something else, and I hit OK on the registration rules, like on the squad registration for the league. I just kind of like clicked the button, and I thought I was doing it as I went along. And instead of just like making sure it was all done, I just hit OK, go. So the next news article was 8 people, my 4 foreign players, my 4 really good Chinese players, saying to me, why wasn't I registered for the league? Shit. Okay. I didn't have enough players in my squad to actually put a decent 11 out, so I had to bring some youngsters in. We lost the first 2 games 4-0, 4-0. They all came to me going, this is ridiculous. This is like the squad morale's in the bin. the dressing room atmosphere on, and basically, I went to the board and I was like, "Look, I want a coaching badge. Probably the wrong time, but I'm thinking if we can get something out of this season, we'd probably got enough to stay up and not get relegated. But my thought was like, if I could just get through this season at Dongyu and not get relegated and get a coaching badge, then it's been a season that's been acceptable." He turned around and said, "No chance." So I resigned. I resigned after 2 weeks of the season. And I went on a bit of a hunting spree for jobs. And I couldn't really find much of a job. Called it a night. Come back the next day, and it looks like I hadn't saved the game. Right? So I was back at Dongyu. So I had to go and redo it all over again and resign because I was like, oh, well, like in my narrative, I resigned. So I had to resign. And I've eventually found a team in Japan in Division 3 of Japanese football. They are called Numasu. I'm going to go with Numasu. They got a 10,000 seater stadium. They have 11 people that turn up and watch. basically. And again, I joined them, and when I joined them, all I had to do was just keep them up, not get them relegated. I think they were like, I had 20th, 19th, 17th, and 16th all offer me an interview with about halfway to go. One being like Honda FC. I think Kutamoto offered me an interview as well, and I ended up getting the Honda job or this Numasu job, and I went for the Numasu because they were higher in the league, and they just had nothing. They had no goal scorers. They had nothing that I could do anything with, but all I could do was just shut up shop. And the aim of the game was just to try not to get relegated. And I went in and I won 3 games. I drew 3 games, and then I lost 9 games. But I lost 5 in a bounce, and it looked like we were going to get relegated. I think I was in the call with Joe, and I'm like, this is just going down to the wire. We managed to beat Honda FC on the penultimate day 1-0 with a penalty, the first goal we scored in like 6 weeks, just to stay up. The players were coming to me complaining because of the negative tactics, right? They were not happy with the way that we were playing. When I first joined, they all came to me saying that, because we were in a transfer window when I joined, they were saying that we want to improve the squad. I had no money, that old chestnut. I was already like $2,000 over the wage budget. The wage budget is like 14 grand a week. So it wasn't a lot, but we were already $2,000 over that. So I couldn't sign anyone. I couldn't even get anyone on a free. And I had no options to say, I've got no money or we've got no money. It was just like, the only option I really had was get on with your job or I'm going to strengthen. So either way, I was going to upset them. So they were just, morale was in the bin, and it was shocking. We managed to stay up, got to the end of the season after all the loan deals went out and all the expired contracts went out. I was left with like 5 players. I put a picture of it early on the Discord chat, and like, I think I'm genuinely left with like 5 or 6 players. So we're doing a full squad rebuild. And I've managed to bring a couple in now. And I brought a chap called Facundo Trinidad from Uruguay. He's actually really good, and I'm excited to see him play. He can play number 10, and I will be reporting back to him. He's only 24 years of age. The only downside is I bought him from Liverpool FC in Uruguay, but he seems absolutely beautiful, and I cannot wait to play him. So, yeah, there you go. A bit of a monster one, and it's been a bit of a nightmare. I'm hoping we can kind of like just have a bit of stability now in Japan. Maybe get promoted, maybe even find a natural progression, but I shouldn't really be leaving this team anytime soon because I just need to build or get rid of that reputation that I'm just in and out really quick. Ask the missus.
Eyes emoji.
I have a question here. Maybe this is for Joe, actually, because, like, Joe, you remember there was a time when you would say, spend enough time on this pod and you get a lot better at FM. Is there a point where you come full circle and get a lot worse then? Because I feel like that's what's happened too.
You'd know, mate.
No, I
was
think
never good.
I'll be honest. I think it's a fair assessment. Think
No, what's the problem is lack of concentration.
Yeah.
I'm playing darts.
He's probably watched about 98 episodes of The Office in 3 days. probably chucks about 1,000 arrows, and then wonders
Mm.
why he's cocked up his squad registration.
Oh mate, I can remember. I'm just sat there looking at the screen. Joe's there, and Joe's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, I couldn't even put it into words. It was so fucking
Which
tragic.
won't surprise anybody.
It was so tragic because I had built like a decent little team, and I genuinely thought we could go on to do something here. In the League One of China. I'm just actually heading back there now, to see how they got on. Because honestly, I think we could have done something. That striker only got 7 goals.
I feel we should put out a poll to say, if you were Doop and you've submitted the wrong registration, would you, Dave, and reload?
Hey, can I
To be
also
fair-
put this out there?
To be fair, Dave is exactly the right person to sort out the poll.
Yeah.
If you know, you
Yeah.
know.
He could dance his way around that pole. Right, let me ask you this question, Mad. Right, and I'll be honest with you. And Joe was present. I have currently got save updates. I've got auto saves on after every game. But what it's doing at the moment, I don't know. To be fair, I mentioned it, Joe, and I haven't really took it off. But it's saving after every game, and it's producing a new save file. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I could have went back. I could have. I chose not to. Right.
I mean, I did even give him that option.
Yeah,
said,
I
"Why
think
don't you
Joe
just
even said, "Why don't you just do it?" Because it's a genuine error.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I'm not trying to better a result. All I was trying to do was just get the guys into the squad. And let's be honest, if I was to do that in real life, I wouldn't be allowed to do that. You know, like somebody would pick that up, and go. But no, I decided to live with my situation. And I'll be honest, at one stage, I think after that, I kind of turned the game off. I was like, I'm done. I don't want to do that save anymore. I'll come up with a new save to play offline. But I stuck with it, and I'm actually enjoying it. I'm getting to see a lot of Wang in China, and I'm glad to go to Japan and see something a bit different. To be honest,
Steady on.
A bit different to London, then.
I had a
Been a
right
while
back called
since you've
Danny
seen any
Wang.
Wang.
Well, see the pictures, Joe.
Mm.
So yeah, that's pretty difficult. It's been pretty difficult, but it's difficult to see my cock too. It's been pretty difficult, but we're sticking in there, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll come out of it with something decent. But I should say, Joe's going to look at me weirdly, so I'm going to shut my eyes when I say this. That by the time this pod comes out, we should have sparked up the Deportivo save, because I should be live this weekend / Thursday / Friday-ish. So
I'll do this face for you.
fucking hell. So yeah, we'll have 2 save updates maybe next week, or maybe we'll alternate them, because I won't stream that much.
Fair play.
But yeah, man, as you had so many questions, mate, and you were talking about shit managers, so from one shit manager to another.
Joe,
Your turn.
Yeah, I probably not want to talk, but it's mainly because I haven't even had the opportunity to be too much of a ship manager, just because I haven't played enough. However, the good news is I have got back to the Ike save and done a little bit of business. So I can't even remember the last time I did a proper save update on Ike, but we had finished the second season. We had won the league for the second time. That was November. We then proceeded to go into the Champions League. We got out of the group. And I think the last time we spoke, I had just lost our best player, Oscar Hoyland, because his loan deal had ended, because technically it was end of season, even though we're mid-Champions League. And he was playing as Mazzala. So we lost him kind of not too far from the Brighton game. So we got out of the Champions League group and played 2 legs against Brighton, but we unfortunately got knocked out. I was using Gustavo Sa, who's the kid we'd signed from Famalicão, Joe, as you remember. So then we've obviously come out and it's pre-season. Yeah, fact. But we did have a really, really nice transfer budget, because we had won a few games in the Champions League group stages, and every time we were winning a game, it was like 2 million. It was insane. So I think I ended up with about 8 or 9 million in the transfer budget. So I waited until the Champions League was done, and then did a little bit of shopping. Had to replace Oscar Hoyland. And we went back to the same club where he comes from, which is Copenhagen. And we signed a guy we're all quite familiar with, and Joe in particular, I think, Isaac Bergman Johansson.
Cracking little player.
Managed to get him on loan with, I think it was I don't have it in front of me, a couple of million of a fee, maybe about 4 or 5 million if we want to make it permanent. So he's probably going to go in as a like for Oscar Hoyland. And he still looks quite good. He's been in FM, must be 2, 3, 4 versions in a row, and been a bit of a wonder kid. So looking forward to having him. He's done quite well in preseason. He actually scored a hat-trick in preseason friendly. We coincidentally also signed Oscar's brother Emil at the end of his contract on a free, just because. But he's not as good. He's not even half as good. And then there was 2 positions I really wanted to fill. One was on the right wing, so we play like an inverted winger. So I signed a guy who I recognize his name through FM, but I definitely haven't managed. It's Noah Jean Holm, Holm, or Noah Jean Holm. He
It's the
used
way
to be
you
at
say it, mate.
Leipzig. Yeah, Noah Jean Holm, Holm. He was at Leipzig at one point, and he's still only early 20s. Signed him from Rosenborg for 2.5 million. He actually looks really good for this level, to be fair, because I wanted someone a bit pacier. So he's got pace 14, acceleration 14. Technicals are middle of the road, but I just think he at this level, opposition fullbacks will struggle against him. And I haven't had a really quality right-sided player. We had Jeppe Ockels on the left, which was great. And 2 other players of note. One is a defensive midfielder who I think was recommended on stream by our friend Shrunaldo. And it's a player called Coli Sacco, Saco, who's at Napoli. And I managed to get him in for like 50k or 60k because his contract was due to be up. And he looks really, really good. However, based on his attributes, I'm actually looking or in the process of retraining him to be a centre back. Because, I mean, basically he's 6'6" in height. Pretty quick. He's got 14 pace, 14 tackling, 14 aggression, 13 positioning. He's not an amazing passer of the ball. Technicals aren't amazing, so I'm actually going to retrain him as a defender because I could do with a backup centre half. And then finally, I was after a left back, and by this point, I hadn't spent a ton of cash of that budget we had. And I managed to bring in a bit of a Swedish legend, I would call it, because we are trying to keep going with the Swedish theme. 45-year-old Zlatno. It's a left back. His name is Ludvig Augustinsson, and he's been around for a good while. He's 30 now in my save, which is like season 3. Brought him in from Sevilla. I was surprised he was even interested. And we spent 6.5 million euros. I think we paid about half or 60% up front. And the rest is going to be in installments. He's got like 70 caps for Sweden. So he's going to bring it, like, in addition to the quality he'll bring, he obviously brings a ton of experience and leadership and all of that. And it's a real step up in quality. His value went up to 11.5 to 12.5 for a 30-year-old Swedish left back. And in the spirit of retraining, because he's not getting any quicker, I'm actually thinking of retraining him as a ball-playing defender to sit on the left-hand side of our defense as well. Because, again, he's aging, right? And that's something we all love doing, right? A bit of that retraining. Inverted fullback is an option, but yeah, I still have to figure out what we're going to do in terms of formation. So that's kind of where we left off. I haven't actually officially kicked off the league for season 3, but there is a Swedish Cup that happens before you start the league. So I've gotten all the way to the semi-final, won the semi-final, and that's basically, I want to say it's towards the end of March. So we've won the semi-final of the Swedish Cup. The league starts in April, but the final of that Swedish Cup isn't until the very end of May. So it's like 2 months away. So this whole calendar of the Swedish league is just baffling to me. I'm in my third season,
didn't we?
Yeah, and it's not getting any easier.
It's tough.
It's interesting you bring up the retraining, Mad, and this is probably an open question for everyone, really. But I've probably noticed it more this year than ever before, and it might be because I'm making a conscious effort to actually sort of pay more attention to attributes rather than just their positions. I'm seeing it a lot more where players are becoming accomplished in different positions when you play them there. So it's not just a matter of retraining them on the training ground. It's actually playing them in that position as well. So I just play a flat 4-4-2. And it's weird that you mentioned, because literally I've just gone on my team screen and this guy's just become accomplished as a left midfielder. He's predominantly a striker or an attacking left midfielder. And obviously I've been playing him on the left a little bit deeper. And he's just become accomplished there now. So I think, and I think I did it a little bit more. I think it was more the help of the chat, but with Bargy, when I was doing the wall save, he was like, you would say more of a number 10, but I was playing with wingers and no number 10. I think he's more a left sider, and it was like, we'll just play him on the right, and he became natural there, and he was fantastic. So I think sometimes, and most people listening to this will probably know, but just because a player is said to be a left winger, if you think he's got the attributes to be a right midfielder or a right winger, start playing him there, train him there, but start playing him there as well, and you'll soon, start reaping the rewards. So yeah, I've seen that a lot more. One of my new gens, McKitsy, I think his name is Ryan Manning, who's a really good player that I've had. It was like a number 10 and an attacking right midfielder. I've played him a lot deeper, and now he's got that as as an accomplished position. So it's good. I think the only other time I was really successful with it was years ago, my 1860 save, and I had a striker. I even remember his name. It was Ribamar, his name, Brazilian striker. I don't know if he's still knocking about nowadays. And he was a bagsman. But as I was getting better as a team, he wasn't good enough for me to play as a number 9. But I almost got a bit too attached to him. And I looked at his attributes and thought, you know what? He's actually really good on the ball. He actually isn't bad at crossing the ball. So let's play him as a left winger. And I trained him there. And he was part of my best 11 then, although he was a striker. So I think sometimes, rather than having to delve into the transfer market, and I think Doop for you on the penty, sometimes you do have to, mix and match things. So it's definitely an area of the game that I've not entertained as much as I have this year, to be fair.
I have to admit, I'm quite guilty of that. I do like to drag my wingers in and make them CM attacks or AP attacks, or I am.
Teak was always one though. I remember. I think it was one of the FM events we went to, and it was when it was Curtis and Dom, and they were doing the live streams. And Teach sat in with them, and they were like, "This is our team. What do you think?" And Teach was like, looking at all the attributes, like, "Well, play him on the opposite wing because he's like he can play there, change his roles."
Do the voice.
I don't know if I can do the voice. My head, no. I can't do the accent.
You've let us down there, David.
No, because I know if I do it live, I'll bottle it.
You'll get a phone call.
Yeah.
So
I think like sometimes, obviously, I mean, that's me especially. I want to rush into the game, just try and get through it as quick as you can. But sometimes, if you do want to spend like an hour or so just looking for your team, looking at it's stuff like DMs, like defensive midfielders. If you think they're still good, but maybe just a little bit too slow to play a specific role, or like central midfielders, push them back to a DM or push them back to a fullback or centre back. I've got quite a few fullbacks that are quite good going forward, but their defensive side of the game isn't great. So I've been playing them as a right midfielder as well. So there's lots of different ways that you can mix it up, really.
Yeah, like you said, attribute, like you start with your attributes. It's not everything, right? There's attributes and traits and everything, but players aren't specifically hard-coded programmed to only play in a role, as you said, and the tools are there to retrain them, right? You can go in and you can focus on specific position, specific focus, obviously left foot, right foot, all of that, adding traits. But I think the first point you said, Dave, was just actually playing players in those roles, and as you're retraining, there isn't really much better or quicker way of doing it than while you're retraining them on the side, throw them in. If you're 3-0 up, put the player in the role he's meant to be, you want him to be in. It might be a risk early, but the more game time they can get in that role, the better. I wrote a byline piece on this actually a while back on retraining players, so we might dig that up again.
I've just remembered talking about my Deportivo save. That Ontiveros I've brought him in. He's left winger, and I've been playing him on stream. God, that's probably about 6 weeks ago. But I brought him in, and I'm making him into a centre midfielder. I think I've actually I'm not got the save in front of me. I think I've transformed him into a Mazzala. Again, just went on there, just seeing what attributes. I think I went to buy a Mazzala, and I couldn't find a Mazzala that had the attributes that I wanted. He was a left winger that was available, and I was able to kind of then just bring him in and go, right, I'm bringing him in, but I'm bringing him in for the sole focus because of the purpose for that, because wingers are cheaper than centre midfielders. And it's a risk, especially when you're streaming it, because you look stupid at times. But he's been bagging it, and we'll talk about that next week. But he has been banging it.
Nice.
Talking of banging it, Joseph, you want to talk us a little bit about Portugal?
Not really much to say, really, after last week's bumper
Monster.
update. I'm halfway through the season, so next week I should have another season review.
We've had some. We had a gentleman tweet to say how much he loves your save update, so I wouldn't want to make sure he listens next week.
Teddy Nichols, welcome
Nice.
That little prick definitely doesn't enjoy it.
in.
Bless. Okay,
Love
well, I think that's nicely covered. A bit of a save update bumper, but I think it's time for us to do some Wonder Kidness. So after last week's discussion around the Golazo 50, we mentioned that Matias Soule nearly made his debut on a Wonder Kid land a few months ago, but tonight is his night, Matthew. That's one for the oldies as well. Currently contracted to Juventus. Soler is out on loan on, I can never get this team, at Frosinone. And he's having a great season, a 23-24 season. Is that how you pronounce that? Frosinone?
Frosinone.
Frosinone?
Frosinone.
Okay. Just looks really weird. He's having a great season anyway. Joint in third goals, 8. Second in most key passes, 43. Most successful dribbles, I dribbled saying that, 64. So let's have a little look. Dave's going to pop him up on screen. What he looks like in Football Manager. Anyone want to take over? I thought Dave
This
literally
is
got
a
him up
player I have seen. I think so. I had seen this player in Football Manager, and originally I hadn't because I think he's 20 at the start of the game. I hadn't actually thought, nothing really jumps out. It was real life kind of stats and goals and clips that actually got my attention. And then when I went back, I was like, why did I, for no reason, decide he wasn't brilliant? Because he actually is quite good now that you look at it in FM, to be honest. So I think that was more poor management on my part.
He's very good. Look at his value at 20. Wow.
Pretty high. That's the Juventus factor, though, isn't it?
Yeah, true. Yeah. I'm getting
and then
getting a bit blindsided
I think
by that.
when we was talking about it, we done the Ibrahimovic, didn't we? Adventures in Wonder Kid Land, and he's playing with him at the moment as well. So they've got a very nice little attack going with him.
I think I popped that in our chat.
About Ibra,
yeah. Ariane.
He's off to AC Milan. Oh, sorry, Sporting intend to secure the signing, but AC Milan are also in the race. So lots on him at the moment. Yeah, lots on this guy too, because this guy is so good. Again, very versatile. And Dave, talking about your retraining and Matt talking about your retraining, this is a sort of guy you could pluck and put where you wanted and then focus that development. With 16 determination, he'll do whatever you ask him to do. And he's got a good basis there for you to play the player and the role that you want.
Yeah,
he could do anything.
Well, the good thing is already you look at his profile. He's got attacking right midfield and a attacking midfield central as accomplished. He's already got a striker as comfortable. The two left midfield roles are okay. Central midfield, right wing back role. So I don't think I would play him as a wing back. Definitely as a winger for sure. But I think at that age and that profile already, he could become a really, really good player. And like you said, with the determination, then 6 foot, really good height for a winger as well. You could genuinely play him anywhere. I think finishing's a little bit too low to play him as a striker, but across that sort of attacking midfield three, I think he'd be a cracking player.
Agreed.
The technicals are there as well for that number 10, like 15 technique, 14 first touch. I think 15 flair, always a bonus.
Decent set pieces.
Joe, Joe had given us this. Is it from your save, Joe?
This is from my familiar cow save.
Yeah, and I can see that off the ball jumped up by 2 or 3 at least. So that there's definite progression, but there's a couple of attributes where there was a good jump from 20 to 25 years old. So
you can just see 145 games for Juventus. He's been getting game time, so he's developed quite well. Added some player traits as well.
The AI
he's good. He's good.
Also.
I mean, he does lack that natural basis of an Argentinian with just being an angry bastard. But apart from that, he's got low aggression. He's got the skinhead, yeah. He's got the Raz cut, but he's got low aggression, low bravery, and his tackling's not great. But again, he is more of an attacking player. But apart from that, I mean, I am picking now. I'm being a bit harsh, to be fair.
I think he's very good. He looks a really good player, really good.
Yeah.
I think he got a really nice mix across all his attributes: technicals, mentals, physicals. The average attribute is really high. So I think I've not heard of him before today. So be a player that I'll keep my eye out for.
guess
See
the only
value is
downside.
shot up.
Yeah, I was
yeah.
gonna say the downside
the
is
value
we're
has
not.
gone up to like 94 million.
300 grand a week.
Yeah, you
Is
ain't
he?
gonna pick him
Oh
up.
my God.
Yeah, you're not gonna pick him up, unfortunately. But yeah, no, good guy. And if you haven't already, go check him out. But that moves us on to the quiz, David.
It's Mad this week. Mad's doing the
Uh-oh.
quiz, mate.
Okay, well that brings
That's the
episode
correct.
300.
That's the correct answer. One point for Dave.
And that's,
One
yeah.
point.
Okay, well that's a good pod, gents. That brings episode 335 to a. Oh, man,
Yeah.
fine. I'll let you do a quiz. Go on.
You're very kind, Doop.
Do you?
I do it for you.
Sometimes.
I do it for you. I have I suppose it's a slightly relevant quiz because by the time this pod is out, the African Cup of Nations. will have started.
No. Me and Joe we were talking about this last night. And like, we
And
couldn't
that
even pick the
brings
fucking winner
Podcast
last night.
335 to a close.
Why?
It come out. I had Sky Sports News on or something, and I was like, Joe, who won last year? And I was like, was it Egypt? Or we couldn't even
It
pick.
might not even be about the history. It might be about players
I
going.
know.
No,
so-
I'm not even going down that route because I know myself. I don't know the answers, so I wouldn't
Okay.
do it to you. Don't worry. No, it's a bit more straightforward than that. Quite simply, as we know, there's a lot of players that have headed off in January who go to the AFCON, and it happens every couple of years. But really simply, lads, I have a list in front of me of the top 10 all-time Premier League African goal scorers in Premier League
okay.
history.
That's a bit
The
different
top
then.
10 goal scorers
Doop.
who hail from the continent of Africa in Premier League history. And for Dave, you may remember. No, you won't. That's 1992.
Can we working together because it's late. It's
No,
tired.
we're
I
gonna-
reckon we go around.
We're gonna go around. We'll go one by one. We'll alternate, right? As we usually do, because it's lovely and fair. And we will start this week with Dave.
It's always
Thank you.
Dave.
Yeah, but I've got the
Youngest
worst like historical knowledge of this sort of stuff.
That's why I let you go first, my friend.
Let's get the tapping out of the way.
Nearly married one.
Mohamed Salah.
Didn't even
Do you know
think
what,
of that
actually,
one.
I mean,
That shows how shit I am.
and to throw it in there as well, if you can get in within 5 goals. I'll
Oh
give you
my
a
god!
my
point.
This is
God.
this like that quiz you done the other week where you give me the
Cock
answers.
off.
Possible,
Even right.
possible.
Yeah.
5
The
goals.
scorers.
So,
Yeah, there's
all right,
scores.
Salah
yeah.
gets you a point. You don't
How
wanna
many
do
goals he got? No.
So,
I'll
Salah
have a
tops
guess.
the list.
I don't know.
106.
200. No, he scored 150 the other day, didn't he?
It's actually, as of right now, it's 152.
So he was
Well,
right.
no, he
5
scored for
points.
Chelsea or someone. Yeah. Oh yeah, I got it right now.
Yes.
Woo.
Right, so I'm going to
Yeah,
tell
let's
you
do that
Salah
goal
tops
thing.
the list.
No, jokes.
And we will go over to Joe.
What am I guessing?
A
Top 10
a
African
player
goal
on the
scorers.
list, please.
Samuel Eto'o.
No, in the Prem.
And the Premier
Oh,
League, sorry.
Well, he played in the Premier League.
All right. Yeah, say
Obviously
that.
one of the top
But
10
all right, I'll say
African-
Didier Drogba.
Didier Drogba. Do you want to have a guess at the goals? Or you bother?
No.
Didier Drogba is number 3 on the list with 104 goals. Gets you a point. Dupe.
Sadio Mane.
Oh no.
19
Sadio
goals.
Mane.
Great age.
Sadio Mane is number 2 on the list with 111 goals. Gets you a point. We're not doing goals, by the way, Dave. Just
I got 3 more, so I'm fucked after that.
Dave.
I think I'm stuck now. Surely there's got to
Top
be
3
an obvious
done.
one. Surely there's got to be an obvious one. This is an interesting shout. Wilfred Zaha.
Good shout.
Wilfred Zaha
Yeah, I like
is
that.
number 8 on the list.
Oi, come on.
Yeah.
68
now.
goals in 305 games.
That's the level we're looking at. Okay.
Gosh. Joe.
Asamoah Gyan.
Surely not.
Asamoah Gyan is not in the top 10. Sunderland legend, I believe, but he's not.
Yeah. Just about.
in the
Doesn't
top 10.
deserve to be on the list. War number 3. Nonce.
Dude.
Allegedly. Yaya Toure.
Yaya Toure. Yeah. Number 9 on the list. 62 goals in 230 games. It's your point. David.
I've got a player, but I don't think he played in the Premier League enough to warrant that amount of goals, especially with the names that we've got there. Struggling to think of many more, to be honest.
Dave, can I help you?
Go on.
Hurry the fuck up because I need a wee.
Okay. Freddie Canute.
Oh,
Freddie Canute is not on the list.
Oh,
So
I don't
it
think
goes over
so.
to Joe.
Kanu.
Obviously.
good
Flipping it.
shout.
Kanu with 54 goals is number 10 on the list.
Oh,
of the
wow.
top 10.
I would have
Great-
said he would have
great
scored
job,
way
Joe.
more.
Serious job.
I've got
Joe.
another one now.
73
I've got another one.
Yeah, I've got one as well.
Doop.
Adebayor.
Shout.
Emmanuel Adebayor with 97 goals in 241 games is fourth on the list. Gets you a point.
I would hope
David.
with the teams he played for, Riyad Mahrez should be on the list.
Good.
Riyad.
That was on mine.
Mahrez. Doop is nodding. He's number 6 on the list with
Come
82 goals in 284 games. Gets you a point.
How many left there, Mad, now?
Not many.
So
This
you
is
have
10.
2 left.
Yakubu.
Shout.
Banging shout.
Yakubu. 95 goals in 252 games puts him in number 5 of the top 10. And I can tell you, lads, it's 3-3-3 apiece. So whoever gets the last one is the winner. So it goes on offer to the floor, and you can shout your name.
Hang on, I've got my third.
No,
my
dude,
fourth
no.
guess. You've had wrong ones.
Let him get Google up.
Yeah.
We can nearly see the reflection of his monitor in the back door there behind him. So keep an eye on it.
I tell you what. Don't think I know, to be honest.
I was going to shout Tony Yeboah.
Mate, I was literally about to say the same.
Good shout.
I was going to say
I
the
would
same.
love if it was Tony Yeboah, but it is not Tony Yeboah. He's not in the top 10.
Oh, I think I've got one.
I'm just trying. I
Joe might
don't
have a eureka
know
moment here.
if I know the last one. Can you tell us who is in the list? and
Well,
not that
you
one,
got to have your
obviously?
third go first, mate.
Say Tony Bill.
Say Denver Bar.
That's got to be it, innit?
Oh, Papa Cisse, that's a good shout.
Mm.
What about? No, I'm struggling here.
I've just given you two.
You got two.
No, but
there.
I don't think they've scored enough. And I want to win this quiz really badly.
You need
I
a wee.
don't know. I do need a wee. I'm sacrificing that for the fact that I want to win. I can't think. You said Yakubu, didn't you?
I think it's one of the ones Joe's just said.
I've said Adebayor. I think I'm going to have to give it to Joe. I don't think I know.
I've got another
Final
shout.
answer. On offer to
I
Joe.
don't think I know, mate.
No, mate, I just can't. I haven't got a guess in me.
He just give you two.
I don't
you
think
could
it's
have had an
either of them.
Yeah, but you could have, instead of passing it, you could have had an educated guess. Or
Denver
throwing
Bar.
in one of them. Could I?
Is that your guess, Joe?
Yes.
Demba Ba is not in the top 10.
See,
Can I
Duke
go
knows-
with-
Duke knows because he's got the list in front of him. That's why. he
Can
didn't
I go
guess.
with Benjani?
Benjani is not in the top 10.
I thought it was going to be a genius again.
He was so chuffed with Benjani as well.
I just thought it was a proper random shout here. I've got it. I think I've got it.
Go on.
Is it though? Benny McCarthy.
Benny McCarthy is incorrect.
Oh, fuck. South Africa ties.
Stephen Pina.
Stephen Pinar is incorrect.
Just
Going South African ballers now.
just fucking shouting them out.
Mido.
Colo.
Is Incorrect. Incorrect. I'm going to give you a small clue. This player has played for 2 clubs in the Premier League.
Cheers, mate.
This player has played
So
for 2 clubs in the
Samuel
Premier
Eto'o.
League. It's not Samuel Eto'o. I can tell you these are two of the so-called Big Six in the Premier League. When you get it, guys, you're going to be like
Kick yourself.
not happy.
Well, think of the big nations. Who's there? Ghana, Nigeria.
Essien? No, he's only played for one, hasn't he?
It's not Essien. I can tell you
Attacker.
that this player is a striker.
Oh,
You
what's
got
his fucking...
Who?
Oh, fuck. He's played for Arsenal. He went to Barca after Arsenal because he got fucking sacked.
Aubameyang.
Aubameyang, as he can. Aubameyang. Fucking hell.
We'll take it as a draw.
Emerick Aubameyang, 69 goals,
Oh,
puts him number
mate,
7
why
on the
couldn't
list
I
in
think-
143 games. Do you know what, Joe?
Nice.
You win that just because it took two of them to get it.
No. We'll just take a 3-3-3 draw.
That does,
tough one,
thankfully, bring episode...
Next week, Dave will be doing a quiz, by the way.
Right, for reals now, that brings episode 335 to a close. You can find the links for each of us in the podcast description or by visiting 5starpotential.com, where you can find all of our latest Football Manager content. 5-Star Potential is available on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, and most of the popular podcast apps and platforms with a new podcast released every single week. Thank you all for listening. There'll be more from us next week. Say goodbye, folks.
Good night. Bye bye.
Bye, folks.
Goodbye.
Tally ho!
Bye.